Most people chase wealth as if it were a spotlight. They see the car, the home, the freedom of time, and assume success must be loud, visible, and immediate. What they rarely see is the quiet work that actually makes all of it possible. The years of small, almost invisible decisions, repeated consistently, form the foundation of lasting financial stability. Hello, I'm Max, and if this content helps you better understand how money works in real life, I invite you to leave a like and subscribe. Here, we explore finance calmly and with perspective. Now, let's dive into what really builds wealth. The first truth is that wealth is rarely about how much money you earn. Income is only potential. It is behavior that determines results. Without intentional habits, higher income often leads to higher spending, higher commitments, and higher stress. The external appearance may improve, but internal stability often remains unchanged. What matters is how money is allocated, controlled, and protected over time. The second truth is that wealth grows quietly. It is not made from dramatic bursts of effort or flashy achievements. Instead, it comes from small, consistent choices that often feel insignificant in the moment. Every decision to save, to invest time wisely, to avoid unnecessary consumption, adds up. Over months and years, these choices compound into something substantial. This process is invisible to the outside world, which is why it is often misunderstood. A third truth is patience. Sustainable wealth rewards those who delay gratification. It requires tolerating delayed outcomes without anxiety. People who chase immediate satisfaction often mistake activity for progress. Paying for appearances or convenience feels productive in the short term, but it rarely contributes to long-term security. The ability to wait, to let decisions mature, separates those who accumulate lasting wealth from those who only appear successful. Restraint is another key component. Wealth is built by choosing carefully where to allocate resources, not by depriving oneself of enjoyment. It is about selectivity, deciding when comfort and convenience are worth the cost and when they are not. Mild friction is not a punishment. It is a tool. It preserves flexibility, reduces dependency on constant spending, and allows for meaningful opportunities in the future. Emotional intelligence plays a silent but critical role. Those who understand the quiet truth about wealth make decisions without being swayed by external pressures. They resist the need to signal success, compare themselves to peers, or chase social validation. Instead, they focus on what each choice allows them to achieve in the long run: more freedom, more options, and more resilience. This mindset shifts the entire relationship with money. Structure is another invisible pillar. Automatic systems, such as consistent saving, intentional spending, and prioritizing high-impact decisions, quietly carry progress forward. These systems reduce cognitive load and stress, allowing wealth to grow without constant attention. This is why many wealthy individuals appear disciplined rather than flashy. They have created habits and frameworks that operate in the background. Finally, the quiet path to wealth is sustainable. It is not flashy, it is not instantaneous, and it is rarely recognized by others. Yet it is durable. Those who embrace this approach stop chasing what is visible and begin focusing on what truly matters: control, security, and long-term resilience. By committing to small, deliberate choices, wealth accumulates naturally, silently, and steadily. Understanding this truth changes the approach to financial life. It shifts focus from appearance to substance, from reaction to intention, and from short-term excitement to long-term stability. This is the foundation upon which all lasting wealth is built, quietly but unshakably. Once the foundation of wealth is understood, another pattern emerges. Small habits matter more than grand gestures. People often assume that large investments or sudden windfalls create financial freedom. In reality, long-term wealth grows through consistent, seemingly ordinary actions. The quiet, repetitive decisions, whether saving a small portion of income, avoiding unnecessary debt, or thoughtfully allocating resources, compound over years to produce results far beyond what immediate appearances suggest. A key difference between short-term gains and lasting wealth lies in intention. Spending to feel successful or to maintain a certain image can generate temporary satisfaction. However, this behavior rarely contributes to financial stability. Each decision is reactive, guided by emotion, peer pressure, or perceived expectations. In contrast, intentional actions, those aligned with long-term goals, provide stability. They allow progress to accumulate silently, independent of recognition or immediate reward. Behavioral consistency creates what could be called financial inertia. When habits are aligned with long-term objectives, momentum builds naturally. Small, repeated choices, like routinely saving a percentage of income or investing steadily, create a system that grows stronger over time. These choices may seem insignificant in isolation, but together they generate compound effects that far exceed the value of occasional large actions. The quiet accumulation of wealth is often invisible, but it is incredibly powerful. Patience plays an essential role in this process. Those who prioritize appearance often seek immediate validation. They measure success by how quickly they can achieve visible markers of prosperity. The problem is that these markers are fragile, dependent on external factors, and require continuous reinforcement. In contrast, individuals focused on building wealth quietly embrace delayed gratification. They understand that progress may not be noticeable in the short term, yet each careful decision brings them closer to stability, freedom, and resilience. Another important element is the avoidance of unnecessary friction. While appearance-driven behavior often seeks to remove every inconvenience through spending, wealth-focused individuals allow small, manageable challenges to exist. This approach preserves flexibility, keeps decision-making intentional, and reduces dependence on constant consumption. Friction is not a hindrance, it is a tool that strengthens financial resilience by forcing thoughtful evaluation of choices. Emotion also shapes the trajectory of wealth. Maintaining composure, resisting the urge for instant gratification, and making decisions free from social influence are critical. Wealth builds silently for those who are comfortable with subtlety, who can measure progress internally rather than relying on external recognition. The ability to tolerate quiet, incremental growth without stress or comparison is a defining trait of financial resilience. Structure is the next pillar of long-term wealth. Systems like automatic savings, scheduled investments, and planned expenses reduce cognitive load and prevent impulsive decisions. Structure transforms ordinary habits into powerful forces that continue even when attention wanes. This is why disciplined behavior often looks unremarkable on the outside, yet yields substantial results over time. Finally, understanding that wealth grows quietly shifts perspective. Financial decisions are no longer about appearances, convenience, or immediate satisfaction. Instead, each choice is a deliberate step toward security, freedom, and optionality. The quiet accumulation of wealth is not flashy, but it is enduring. Those who embrace this approach slowly, methodically, and intentionally develop financial independence that is resilient to fluctuations, visible only in results, not noise. As the understanding of quiet wealth deepens, another principle becomes clear: the most powerful financial actions are often invisible. Wealth is rarely made by showing off, taking risks for attention, or seeking quick recognition. Instead, it grows in spaces that others rarely notice, behind the scenes, through repeated choices that reinforce stability and increase flexibility. Each decision compounds over time, quietly shaping a future that is secure, adaptable, and resilient. One of the core truths is that money responds to structure, not impulse. When income flows into unplanned spending, it dissipates quickly, often without noticeable benefit. Luxury purchases, lifestyle inflation, and reactive decisions consume resources faster than they create value. In contrast, structured behavior, intentional allocation of income, systematic saving, and measured investment ensures that each dollar contributes to growth. This consistency multiplies silently, far beyond the effect of occasional, flashy expenditures. Equally important is the role of perspective. Those who focus on appearance often misjudge risk, believing that visible wealth equals financial freedom. In reality, freedom arises from control, optionality, and preparedness. Each decision is measured not by how it looks, but by how it strengthens long-term stability. This subtle shift in perspective is what differentiates quiet wealth builders from those who live to impress. External validation is fleeting, internal resilience endures. Patience is another critical element. Building real wealth is a long game, and it often feels slow. Decisions rarely produce immediate feedback, and progress can seem invisible. This is why many abandon the quiet path, seeking gratification in what is visible. Those who persevere, however, see the cumulative effects over time. A small investment every month, a consistent savings habit, and disciplined spending quietly generate results that far exceed sporadic efforts. Another distinction is how setbacks are handled. Appearance-driven financial behavior amplifies stress when unexpected events occur. Sudden expenses or disruptions feel catastrophic because the system depends on maintaining image. In contrast, wealth built quietly absorbs shocks. Margins, buffers, and thoughtful planning provide resilience. Temporary challenges become manageable, rather than threatening, and decisions remain intentional rather than reactive. The emotional component cannot be underestimated. People who quietly build wealth are comfortable with patience, delayed gratification, and limited external recognition. They measure progress internally, noticing reduced stress, increased flexibility, and growing opportunities. External signals may be absent, but internal markers are clear. This emotional discipline reinforces habits, ensuring that the quiet path continues unbroken. Habits also play a pivotal role. Regular saving, disciplined investing, and thoughtful consumption create cumulative effects. These habits are designed to operate automatically, reducing reliance on motivation alone. Over time, this creates a system where wealth grows without constant effort or stress. The quiet accumulation of financial security becomes almost inevitable when these structures are in place. Finally, the quiet path reframes the purpose of money. Instead of chasing status or immediate pleasure, each decision is evaluated based on how it enhances freedom, flexibility, and future options. This approach transforms money from a tool of validation into a tool of empowerment. Wealth becomes an enabler, supporting life rather than dictating it, and growth occurs in a steady, predictable, and enduring way. In the end, the quiet truth of wealth is that it is slow, invisible, and deliberate. It is built not through spectacle, but through repeated, intentional choices that accumulate over time. Those who understand this truth stop chasing appearances and begin constructing a foundation that is unshakable, resilient, and lasting. By now, it becomes evident that the quiet path to wealth relies heavily on intentionality. Every decision matters, even the small, almost invisible ones. Choosing where to spend, when to save, and how to prioritize long-term benefits over immediate satisfaction shapes outcomes far more than any flashy acquisition or visible display of success. The compounding effect of repeated, deliberate actions is the true engine of financial growth, and it operates silently, often unnoticed by others. One critical insight is that wealth is built through control rather than intensity. People often assume that working harder, earning more, or taking bigger risks will accelerate progress. While effort and opportunity are important, they are ineffective without consistent habits and careful planning. Income can disappear as quickly as it is earned if the systems to manage it are absent. In contrast, deliberate, disciplined actions, though less exciting, create momentum that persists, regardless of external circumstances. Consistency and patience remain central. Wealth does not arrive in leaps and bounds, it accumulates quietly over months and years. A single decision may seem insignificant in isolation, but the cumulative effect of these decisions is profound. Regular saving, investing steadily, and avoiding unnecessary expenditures combine to produce results that are both stable and enduring. This steady approach reduces stress, enhances flexibility, and builds a foundation resilient to the unexpected. Another often overlooked factor is the emotional relationship with money. Those who focus on appearances may make decisions based on validation, comparison, or social pressure. These decisions are reactive, and their benefits are fleeting. In contrast, individuals who build wealth quietly measure progress through internal markers, growing savings, increasing options, reduced worry, and the capacity to make choices without external influence. Emotional discipline ensures that small setbacks do not derail the system, allowing wealth to continue accumulating silently. Flexibility is another defining feature. When wealth is built quietly, resources are allocated with margin in mind. Buffers and contingencies exist to absorb shocks and maintain options. This flexibility allows for strategic adjustments, experimentation, and the pursuit of meaningful opportunities without risking long-term stability. Money becomes a tool to expand choice rather than a measure of status, and decisions are framed with resilience in mind. the role of habits cannot be overstated. Daily routines, structured spending, and consistent investing create automatic systems that carry progress forward. These routines reduce reliance on willpower or motivation, ensuring that even during periods of distraction or stress, the accumulation of wealth continues. Habits are the invisible machinery behind visible results, and they operate quietly, steadily, and predictably. Another subtle truth is that wealth benefits from calm, deliberate observation. Constant urgency, stress, or the need to react quickly often leads to mistakes and unnecessary expenditures. Taking time to reflect, assess, and align decisions with long-term priorities reduces errors and maximizes the impact of each choice. Calmness becomes both a strategy and a protective measure, shielding financial progress from impulsive behavior. Finally, the quiet approach transforms the very purpose of money. Instead of serving as a tool for validation or display, it becomes an enabler of freedom, security, and flexibility. Each decision is evaluated for how it enhances long-term control, rather than immediate recognition. This subtle, deliberate approach builds wealth in ways that are invisible externally but deeply transformative internally. The quiet truth is that real wealth is rarely loud. It grows slowly, consistently, and almost imperceptibly, driven by intention, structure, and patience. Those who embrace this truth stop chasing appearance and begin building a foundation that lasts, silently and reliably, over time. In the end, real wealth is rarely dramatic. It grows through consistency, patience, and intentional choices that often go unnoticed. While appearances fade and trends change, structure and discipline endure. Wealth built quietly provides stability, flexibility, and peace of mind, not because it is impressive, but because it is resilient. Those who understand this stop measuring progress by what others can see and begin focusing on what truly matters. Over time, this quiet approach creates freedom that does not need validation, and security that does not depend on display.